Okay, so we've all read or heard about the judgment of the Federal High Court in Lokoja, um, reversing its earlier decision that directed INEC to register NDC. And what this means is that INEC should deregister NDC. And what is the implication of this? It means someone like Peter Obi and all his party members will not be participating in the forthcoming 2027 election. This has understandably brought a lot of rage and anger, confusion, surprises to many people. I am not a legal expert and therefore will not be giving legal opinions, but I just have to say that the democracy we are practicing in Nigeria today doesn't look like the one that will lead Nigeria towards the right path. And what do I mean? Recently, we watched the Kitty State election where a young girl brought up 15,000 naira. Praising APC and was happy about it. And we saw all the nonsense that happened, sharing of PVCs to people who were not registered for that in this state. So, and then, of course, we've seen this judgment. Now we've seen the new judgment. We've seen the judgment where the Federal High Court also ordered the deregistration of ADC and other political parties. With all these put together, you will see that the democracy we are practicing today is not the answer to Nigeria's problem. I have always been a proponent of democracy. However, what we are practicing in Nigeria today doesn't look like democracy. And democracy cannot bring its dividend where there is no free and fair elections. Democracy cannot thrive and be successful where there is no rule of law. And as we've seen repeatedly, the benchers in Nigeria, the judges in Nigeria, are happy to sell their conscience for a spoon of pottage. We've seen it in the judgment deregistering ADC, where the judges in the appeal court berated the trial judge in the high court. And today we've seen another useless judgment where people who were not party to this initial judgment, rather than appealing if they want to, they have gone back to the same judge and asking him to change the judgment. These are the kind of madness you see in Nigeria. And these are people, judges are people who have the powers to pronounce that someone should be killed. But they're happy to sell their conscience for just a spoon of pottage. Where you have this kind of happenings in a society, democracy can never thrive. Democracy can never succeed in such a society. So what I am thinking now is that Nigeria needs something like a big bang that will reset the brain of everyone who lives in that country from top down. We cannot continue to allow people mess with our common sense. Because you are privileged to be on the bench as a judge. You can give any judgment and there are no consequences to it. We must not allow this to continue. Nigeria needs a big bang to reset the country